Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
Okay. Did a second viewing of the movie Dune 2. It's a little bit overrated. It's an alright movie. Like, my first viewing, I think I had like a 7 out of 10. After seeing it a second time, I will give it a 7.5. And it's just like, it's an alright movie. It's okay. It's average, but there are some god awful things in this movie. Especially like the first hour and a half, just feel like an absolute walkthrough. Fucking imagine playing a video game and you have to do like a tutorial and shit. Like that's what the first hour and a half did. And it's like, if you have to do that, then what's the fucking point of making it? Right? I don't know. Like do a TV show instead. But a TV show wouldn't get the effects and aesthetics that I think people are being tricked into thinking makes the movie that good. Like I'm hearing things like it's a masterpiece. Like no, it's not. Stop it. It could be an aesthetic marvel, sure, but for me, it's like story, bro. Like that's point blank period. The most key things. I've seen greatness from fucking low budget indie films, and I've seen greatness on big blockbuster fucking movies. Right? The aesthetics can't be the only measurement of good and bad in film. Right? Like this had like this was like a simulacra of like what a great movie is, in my opinion. Right? There's some sort of like deeper concepts in here. A lot of it, like, especially in the beginning, things like remind me of like the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Right, these guys are here for spice, and they have these. They showed this like angle from the helicopter, like shooting down at people. Like that looks like fucking like almost like drone footage, or like what was that shit called? What's the Julian Assange thing? Collateral Murder. That videotape of like U.S. soldiers like just beaming fucking cameramen that they thought were bad guys, or that maybe they were hoping were bad guys, and they just kind of mercilessly shoot at them. Like got him, got him. This one's running. Look, he's running. Got him. Like some weird kind of creepy shit. I'm like, okay. I want to hear subtext and shit like that, and also the influences that get you in the world of just society itself. Something like you have like I guess it was like more like the North and South were more like the religious side versus the kind of like politically revolutionary side, or like the freedom fighter type of people. Right? Wasn't there a planet called like Arrakis? I mean, it sounds like Iraq. And they were the Freemen, the Fremen. I wrote it down, but I can't. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah. What the fuck did I write here? Whatever. I think there's some underpinnings there. Not enough to be like, well, what's your statement about it? What are you trying to say about that thing, if you're talking about that at all? Like, oh, these guys are bad because they're bad type of thing, as opposed to like, let's go to the underpinnings, right? And now I did see the first Dune. I don't remember it as well. So people, if someone actually watches this review, someone in the comments can remind me that they explained all these things or showcased them in the first one that I just don't remember. I thought that movie was just all right too, personally. Like, but it doesn't make it the worst movie ever. I'm just saying it's like a simulacra of something like The Matrix or The Dark Knight. Where it's like, oh, man, it has all the things like you'd expect the story to be there too, but it's just not really there. not on that level of storytelling. It's just not there. And we want it to be there because look how cool it looks. Right? Just like look how cool The Matrix looked when it came out, and look how cool The Dark Knight looks when it came out. right? You kind of want it to be as good as those, but those things are actually hit the cores of writing itself. That's why they're special. They're super special. This is not on that level. Sorry. This might even like look better for people, right? And but still, if the story's missing, not that it's missing, it's just the first hour and a half are like to me like flubbity flub fucking central and boring as fuck and holy shit, my eyes are drooping. Like type shit, actually. Like Zendaya, I don't know her character's name. Zendaya and Paul. I remember Paul because I'm racist, and I'll remember Paul, but I won't remember some exotic name. Paul Atreides. Uh, Zendaya and Paul Atreides' fucking love thing. Like it seemed like skipped. Like 1 minute they're like, oh, he'll say some sort of line and then she'll smile and she's like, oh well, he's sincere, huh? And she has goo goo gaga eyes on him, right? And then he has to take some pillage, right? He has to go camp out in the fucking desert for whatever amount of weeks to prove himself. I'll get into the whole Messiah character that who apparently has like a fucking Amazon shopping list of of tasks he has to do to be like a hero. It's like, what? I don't know if that's from the books or that's from the movie, but that's just like to me like bad. It's not good at all. I find that terrible. Rather see showcases of the character that tell me that he's the hero, not just a checklist of accomplishments. Shit's boring to me. But anyways, the Zendaya Paul Atreides fucking love interest thing. He goes out in his pillage for 2 weeks. She kind of helps him out, like, hey, good luck out there. Then they do a time jump, I believe, and then they're doing some fighting, right? They're fighting these it's called Harkonnen, right? The George Bush. I mean, the Stellan Skarsgård military guys or whatever. They're people that are trying to extract the spice from the sand or something like that. Like those guys, like these freedom fighter people, right? The Fremen, Paul and Zendaya, they fight these guys and all that shit. And of course they win. You can't kill them. Right? You can't kill them, especially not right there. You can't kill them. And they win or something. They take down one of these ships or whatever. And it's just like, oh, they're in love now. Okay. Or at some point, I guess she kisses him after that. Like, okay, you guys are like kind of in love now. And then there's another. It's like another thing. Like him and her's love was more like tasks he was doing instead of like something you get to showcase and show a depth to it. It's just a task. Why is he special? Why is he the Messiah? Well, he did these tasks. Why does she love him? Well, he did these tasks. Straight up. Like he rode the worm, the giant worm thing. Now I already saw these other motherfuckers doing it already. I'm like, why is that so fucking special? I guess it was like a bigger worm. So I guess they're like, oh, the Messiah will ride a bigger worm than we ride. Like, why is that fucking special? Once again, I don't know if to blame the books, the old movie, or this current movie for that, but that shit is an eyesore for me. Like, that's trash to me. Because it takes away like, hero stories are some of my favorite stories. I would say, like, existentialism in a film is my thing in a movie. Like, I love that shit. I love Bruce Wayne in Nolan's trilogy. I love Neo in the Matrix trilogy. I love fucking Nina in Black Swan. I love another fucking Natalie Portman, V for Vendetta, Evie, and V himself. Like, I love these stories where we get an entrenched, like, here's the hero, and it's not just, well, he's the hero because he's the hero. It's actually examined and shown, and there's like a rites of passage here. Not just ride giant worm, you're the guy now. Right? It's kind of not good, right? And the same applied to the love interest part too. Like, oh, she loves him. I guess she already loved him, but she's like, you know what? we're gonna show them like, okay, they just fucked, and they're talking to each other. We're showing that right after we see this motherfucker ride a giant worm, which is a little sus, but whatever. Yeah, it's like you're in a way tying them together because you're the director, right, or the writer, or whatever the fuck, and you get to carefully control what we see on screen, and putting those two things back to back mean that it's clearly linked. Him riding the worm thing made her want to sleep with him. I I wish I had better words to explain that, but it's like it seems kind of obvious, though, right? It's like whatever. Think of like a sports movie where like the guy hits the home run, right? And then they show the love interest in the crowd, and she's like, "Oh my god!" She's like in awe and then fucking googly eyes at him. Like, oh, okay, so home run means he gets the girl, right? That's kind of the logic of that. Let me see. Uh, like there's certain things that were skipped to me. Maybe they're in the first movie. Why did Javier Bardem have I don't know the character's name. Why do you have such influence with the council people, right? It seemed like it seemed like he said, okay, the mom has to be the new like mother superior type of thing. Paul's mom, right? She had to be like the new mother, important mom, mother of the religious group thing. And I guess he convinced him of that, but we don't really see him doing that convincing. He just kind of like, I trust me, I know. And so many people were like, well, you can't, like, you running with your faith, man. You're like, how do you fucking know all this shit, bro? Like, fuck out of here. Like, the council were kind of like questioning him. But I guess he has pull like that to get her to be the new replacement of the old lady, where she has to drink the fucking blue ooze and become extra magical, I guess. But it was just weird. But it was like it was actually a weird sequence because it was like he's talking to Paul's mom, and he's telling her like, oh, you have to do this thing, you have to become this lady. And then it goes to him talking to the council, and then like this is all in a span of like 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden she's doing the ritual. Like everyone just accepted that, I guess. It's like maybe don't leave it in the book somewhere. Like if you can't explain where you're going and what you're doing, don't fucking make it. I don't want to hear these excuses anymore for writers and directors and shit. They go, no, they only had they gave him a 2 hour budget or a 2 hour limit or 2.5 hour limit. They only had $200 million. It's like, then don't fucking do it then. Like it's pretty fucking simple. There's so many like weird cut things that happen in this. That's one of them. That's a big one of them. Let's see. There was a funny scene to me that I just thought was hilarious. It's where Paul's talking to Zendaya, and he makes a statement. Like everyone's celebrating after they defeated the Harkonnen fucking stormtroopers or whatever. Right? They're all partying. They're like, yeah. And then Paul Atreides is basically whispering to Zendaya, like, oh, he's trying to do his Christian Bale thing, which he sounds like a lot like in this movie, by the way. He's like, oh, he says some line, right? And everyone in the entire tent shuts up, and they're all like, "You guys heard that shit? That's crazy, bro." That's just a nitpick, but still, like, kind of, I don't know. There's things worth criticizing here. Geez, what else? Yeah. So the love story is just, good God, cliche. The checklist thing, once again, cliche and boring. That shit is boring, bro. Like, hey, how do we know you're the Messiah? Climb this tree, and he does the task, and then that's it. It's like ride the worm, go camp in the fucking desert. They skipped that, by the way. The whole desert thing. He went out there. I guess they skipped it, and now he's like back fighting with they skipped to a part where they're fighting together as like freedom fighters against the fucking the Harkonnen stormtrooper guys. Uh, yeah, they like these people. Like, first of all, when Paul first shows up, right? They don't trust him because he's an outsider. Paul and his mom, like, oh, they're outsiders. We don't trust these fools, right? The religious side were already like, oh, he's the one, the one, the guy who's supposed to be the Messiah guy. He's the one. Like, so they're already believing it. But there's another section, a portion of the people that are like, nah, like I said, the political revolutionary freedom fighter type people. And they're like, bullshit, we don't believe in that shit. Religion's used to control our minds and all that stuff, right? But they skipped through, once again, they simulated through all of the all the shit that would make Paul endearing to them. Can't just show him, once again, doing these tasks to fucking gain favor with them as well. Like, that's what happened. he fucking, he just did these tasks, and they're like, yeah, he's one of us. So, just completing this Amazon checklist of fucking deeds, he now got the favor of the people uh, who were questioning him when he first arrived, considering him an outsider. He got the love interest thing with Zendaya, and he got the Messiah label from the religious people, all just by doing these little checklist things instead of like, some sort of existential journey. Like, no, who needs an existential journey? Just take some blue liquid or eat some spice or something, and all of a sudden, you're the man. Uh, even the blue stuff. I think his eyes turn blue before like the end, like near the end of the movie where he takes the poison water shot. I thought there was maybe I'm getting this wrong. Someone can correct me in the comment section. I thought there was like a ritual they do for their eyes to turn blue, just like the mom did, right? Where she drank the liquid shit and lived, and became Mother Superior, whatever the fuck it's called. I could have swore Paul's eyes were blue, but we never saw how that happened. Like they were just blue one day. like, oh no, a couple weeks passed, so he's already ingratiated himself with these people. Why are you skipping that? Why is that skippable? Why is that okay to skip? That's not okay for me. I mean, but I'm sure it looked very good, so blah blah blah. Javier Bardem, as written. Oh, okay. When the Javier Bardem sees him ride the fucking worm, and he's like, oh, as written, like in some like he sees the coming Messiah guy. He's like, oh, right, and I'm like, bro, I just saw you in the last scene riding some fucking worm. Why is it a big deal? I guess once again, I guess it's because the worm was bigger than the other ones. Okay. There was Paul talking to his mom. His mom trying to convince him, like, you got to take the Messiah role and do all this shit to lead people. You could just trick them, influence them, do it. Do it. Totally forget that. Do it. And then she's like, you can give them hope. And he's like, that's not hope. It's like out of nowhere. I'm like, what are you yelling at, bro? Yo, why'd you have to yell that line? Maybe it's his inner Harkonnen, because I guess they're Harkonnens. Got it. And so Rey is also a Palpatine or whatever. she's a Sidious. Like, who is this blob fucking to reproduce? The villains, my god, they seem kind of washed over until like near the end, and they're kind of walk like what's his name, Fade Rutha, whatever, the other nephew of Stellan. Okay, so the other nephew of Stellan, he fucking they do this thing to try to make him seem like a badass. It's fucking weird. Like I don't know. Like, first of all, he reminds me of Jared Leto. Jared Leto's Joker. Like, you just cringed me out the entire time I saw that guy on screen. There's nothing intimidating about him. This dude's fucking drooling and fucking making rawr noises for no fucking reason. Like, it's like a pseudo, like, this is what bad guys look like. Like, don't show me he's bad guy. Like, don't just like do certain like cliche things and be like, oh, bad guy. Like, give me some inner workings of why he's a bad guy. But I guess they're going with like it's some sort of racial thing. Like, racially, the Harkonnens are just assholes or something. And they're just like, okay, this dude just like, okay, just slits someone's throat and stabs them. Like, oh, look, see, look, my knife. It's good balance, but it's not sharp enough. Like some stupid shit like that. It's like a wannabe. Like, think of the introduction of the Joker in The Dark Knight, where it's like everyone's like, oh shit, when that's not even the right one. Actually, the actual introduction is the very beginning of the movie, where with the bank heist, and it's like that scene right there. Those scenes showcase Joker, not just Joker, like how ruthless and fucked up he is, but also his philosophy is embedded in that scene of having one guy take out the other and another guy take out the other. The intricacies of what it is, of why people do bad things in the world. I think that's the overall nature of the whole Batman trilogy thing. Go watch the first movie if you didn't catch that one, Batman Begins. But yeah, you get to see the philosophy of the Joker of how like you can get people to turn on each other through all these different modes, like fear, greed, whatever the fuck. He's the guy that studied what Batman studied, that Bruce Wayne studied, and used it on the other side. Bruce uses it to see like, oh, you can overcome these things to be good. Joker's like, you can't overcome your true nature. You're gonna fuck people up because you'll get scared, or you'll get greedy, or whatever. Like, see how all that's embedded in that little scene of the bank heist. Where's that for this guy? I guess they're just going for it. Like, well, he's scary because what? Because look, he just slits throats. Wow. Okay. That's not really giving me what I would want in a movie. So I'm just gonna go with, okay, this guy's kind of cringy, doing cringy aesthetic things too as well. But yeah, the whole villain guys are all kind of walked over. Batista dies in like 2 seconds, I think. He fights Josh Brolin for a total of 5 seconds, gets stabbed, and he's dead. He's wrecked. Stellan Skarsgård gets fucking smacked in the back of the head with a sword, laying on the steps. Paul Atreides walks up and kills him. And then the other nephew, the Fade Rotha, when they have their little final showdown, the Emperor names him as his champion or whatever. It starts out as like an interesting like fight, right? As an interesting one-on-one fight, but then then the villain walks up and he has to do the Bond thing where the laser's about to shoot his dick off, right? And he's like, "I'm gonna stab you now," and then he flips the knife, I guess, and stabs him in the fucking heart or whatever and kills him. I don't know. Just a terrible ending to a decently choreographed looking, cool looking fucking fight thing. But whatever. It was actually like hilarious to me. Butthole worms. These are notes I wrote down. Butthole worms. Okay. The best portion of the entire movie, in my opinion, is right when Paul takes the fucking blue shit and like passes out and kind of dies. He comes back as like super Paul Atreides. It is actually funny when Zendaya, like, she mixes her tear with the blue shit and then gives it to Paul. When he like kind of instantly wakes up, Javier Bardem like falls to his knees, and then this like wailing voice starts singing. I'm like, good God, that's just hilarious to me. I don't know why. It seems like over the top, This is important. Fucking thing. All right. Paul finds out he's Sith, aka Harkonnen. And I guess he slow motion walks with a hoodie. I guess that means he's a darker guy now. But that from that point on is where the movie actually gets decent to me, and I find it interesting. Let's see. Yeah, all the Harkonnen deaths were kind of a waste. His whole army's gone. Waste. Just they're all dead now. Yeah, I'll say I appreciate the ending. I think that's the best part of the movie where Paul's fucking like he's the man now, right? And the foot stomp, like he puts his like kiss the fucking ring, pussy. Kiss this fucking ring. And he doesn't do it. He slams his foot on the ground, like kiss the fucking ring. Like that's kind of badass. That was kind of cool and funny, but and you kind of get like a. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but kind of an understanding of their of what he's going for. It seems like a Game of Thrones type of move, where he's like, okay, I'll marry your fucking daughter, and now I'm fucking king. Like I'm running shit now, bro. He became a savage, but to Zendaya became like a villain, which is like I appreciate this build up for another movie, but the problem is overall saying in this movie, like I'm not here for build up for another movie. I'm here for this movie itself, and this hour and a half portion kind of wrecked me. Okay. Sorry for the cuts, audio fucking problems, whatever. It is what it is. I'll just go with like what I think of the movie. It's all right. Like I said, I think I graded it like a 7, 6.97 out of 10 when I watched it yesterday. Today, I'm going to revise my score after rewatching it, considering certain things. Well, having more understanding of the story, right? Just kind of seeing it again. Like, who the fuck is this guy again? And who's that? And why is he doing this? You realize there's probably certain things in the first movie that I still miss out on, right? With all of that added context, I still only give the movie a 7.5. And it's the ending saving it. The ending was a lot more appreciated by me this time than it was yesterday. And endings can be a saving grace for a movie, trust me. But is this thing a masterpiece? Fuck no. Fuckity fuck no. I don't want to hear fucking. They could say maybe visual masterpiece, but for me personally, I don't give a shit about. I do give a shit about visuals, but like it, it can't be hand puppets. But okay, sorry again for the cut. Yeah, this is not a masterpiece. Once again, it could be visually, something people. I don't care. I don't put as much weight on visuals. It is important, but not to a degree where you overlook story because of how cool it looks. All right, that's something that happened with once again the Batman, the Green News guy. Like I watched reviewers after I watched I watched the Batman like 3 different times. Like at this point, and I'm like, yo, this shit fucking sucks, bro. I think this movie's terrible. Like actually, like around a 5 something out of 10 for me. Actually, I'm like, why are people rating this shit so good? I had to assume it was the visuals and maybe the soundtrack and shit like that. And I'm like, God, and certain things did look cool, 100%. But when you have your hero character, right, and he's supposed to be using like willpower and his courage, his honor, his morality are supposed to lead him to moments where he does something courageous. Instead, they had him inject himself with a green ooze. And I didn't see one fucking reviewer talk about that shit. And that shit bothered me, bro. And there's no egregious shit like that in this movie, but still, the overlooking of like major flubs for not that there's that much major flubs, but there's some pretty big flubs in here. All right, I'm sorry for the audio. Yeah, the green ooze thing. No one talked about that. Like, bro, when he had apparently his love interest and someone he cares about, and she's about to be killed by someone, he instead of using his courage, his willpower to like get up and like save the fucking person, he injects himself with a green ooze that allows him to have enough strength and power to stop the bad guy, one of what's his name, Riddler's fucking goons. It's like, golly, is that just not a hero? It's just so lacking. Forget about hero, just for a character, it's just underwhelming, right? That's such a major moment that people don't even fucking talk about. And yeah, there are there's a decent amount of flubs. There's a large chunk of an hour and a half in this movie that are just, to me, boring. And there's a lot of there's time simulation, time skips. There's narrative skips. They're skipping all these things to get through them, probably because they have such a large movie. And it's like, dude, instead of like fucking make 8 of these things instead. Like, listen, I understand like Fast and Furious, how dog shit that franchise is and how crazy it's gotten, but it's okay to make many movies just to get your expression out. Now, once again, yes, there are studios that are like, yo, you get 3 movies tops or 2 movies tops, or you better chop this, chop that in your film. You need to be under this time limit for the sake of theaters, on and so forth. I understand that. But I don't know. I think A, there's ways to write around that. And B, it's like, fuck. I don't know, show some balls. Tell them, like, if they won't listen, tell the public, like, hey, I tried to make this, but they wouldn't let me. Fucking Zack Snyder ended up getting a 4-part fucking Justice League movie, bro, doing that shit. Where's Zack's version? Give me the Snyder cut. Right? I mean, yeah, but, you know, whatever. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm willing to go starving just to be as artistically authentic as possible. Maybe I'm one of those weirdos, man. But yeah, let me just end this up because the audio. Forgive me again for the audio. Like, it takes me off track. Not gonna lie. But yeah, overall, it's a nice average movie. It's okay. Blaring flubs, a cool little third act. I thought third act was awesome, or not awesome, but it's like, oh, it's way better than everything I saw before it. Holy shit! But masterpiece, no. Sorry, YouTube and the YouTube reviewers and the fans that will listen to whatever they say. It's not a masterpiece. Sorry, except for maybe visually, but doesn't make the piece itself a masterpiece, in my opinion. All right, there you go, 7.5 for Dune 2. Yes, I do. I do recommend. I recommend, go check it out. All right, there's my review for Dune 2.